Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Helen if you are new here. Now this is my chat channel and I know that I don't have many subscribers on this channel compared to my other channel where I do other content and stuff like that. This is purely the channel that I set up just for my chats, my parenting motivation, just general chit chat really. So if you are new here then welcome, but I know that obviously most of the people who watch these videos on here you're already here and some of you already do watch my other channel, so thank you for being here. I wanted to do like a little update, what's been going on, kind of like, I don't have any motivational chats for you right now particularly. I don't do them on a regular basis, you see. I do them when I feel like I have something to talk about, and I don't always feel like I have something important to talk about. It is just the way that it is. I'm really sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. I don't think she's very well again at the moment, so she's just a little bit unsettled, so I'm sorry if you can hear her. I've got wooden floors and she makes a noise on them, so if you see me looking, it's because I'm watching the dog. But I am on my own right now. My children are on holiday with their dad. I have the house to myself. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit down and do a chat because it's been so long. And if you watch my other channel, then you'll know that I've been saying about being so busy and I haven't been able to do my regular content properly, which I do feel really quite sad about. But I also feel like I'm not fulfilling what I'm supposed to be doing. Like there's a little bit of guilt there, but obviously everyone of you have just been amazing and you're so supportive and you understand why. But I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about what I've been doing. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'll go back kind of to the beginning. So we live in a rented house. We have lived here for just coming up 11 years. And when we moved in, this place was an absolute dump. It's very hard to find affordable housing, obviously. Blossom! Oh, thank you. So it's very hard to find affordable housing, and we needed, you know, quite, I won't say a large house, but you know, we needed a 4-bedroom house, and it was just really hard. So I had no choice but to rent what I class as a dump. So I felt like we didn't really have a choice. I couldn't afford anything nicer or better, and I just thought, you know, I'll try and make it more pleasant and everything. So I redecorated most of the house within the first year or two, and when I say I did, I mean I'd had a family member, or multiple family members actually did do a lot of the work for me, because I do have health conditions, I have a physical disability. I do find it really hard to do things like that. So we had some help. We decorated most of the rooms and it was a much more pleasant place to be. So that was all good. But that was 10-11 years ago now, and everything was all starting to just look really run down. My kitchen is literally falling to pieces. That's why, like, in my videos where I'm doing the cooking and stuff, like, I don't like to show a lot of the kitchen because it's just not pleasant to look at. It's not pleasant to be in either, really. But like, with the way that I was feeling over the last year or so, and I'd got into quite a bout of depression and I was feeling really quite overwhelmed and stressed. Obviously I am also a carer, so the children that I have care responsibilities for was obviously taking up a lot of my time. I was helping to care for my dad, who was very ill, so obviously I wasn't in the house, and the house has got into a bit of a state, to be perfectly honest. You know, it's very hard when you physically don't feel well all the time and you're in pain and you're tired, and then adding mental feeling unwell and just having no motivation, and all those sorts of things. Like, things can get on top of you, and it did get on top of me massively. I'm not sure I've ever really spoken this much about it, but it's very hard to claw it all back when you're physically unable to do things or you struggle doing things. So we had quite a few changes with some of the things that I needed to do, such as lifts and stuff every day, which was taking me a lot of time and it was just causing a lot of pain sitting in the car. So things like that changed, and then unfortunately I lost my dad. So although physically I am doing less now because I'm not helping with my dad, she's hitting the stand now. Obviously mentally that was a massive spiral for me. That was really, really hard to deal with. You know, I was very, very close to my dad. My children were very close to my dad. We saw my dad more or less every day, apart from during COVID. That's the only time we did not see my dad on a more or less daily basis. You know, he would just pop over for a cup of tea, and he'd just turn up at the house and come in and have a cup of tea with us and stuff. You know, he used to help me a lot with things before he got really unwell. So yeah, you know, it was a massive thing. Anyway, it's taken me months and months to really sort of like sort my head out and get myself to the point where I felt ready to start getting on top of things again in the house. But then physically I was struggling, because obviously if you're not using your body, your muscles get weaker, and then it's harder to build up any kind of activity. So I've been trying to do that physically, mentally, and I decided after my dad died that nothing is now tying us to this area. I hate this house. I didn't want to spend more money on this house. It's not my house. I didn't want to spend more money on someone else's house to make it nicer when I felt like the landlord won't fix the kitchen. God, this dog's so noisy, I'm so sorry. I just feel like, you know, he's not going to fix stuff enough to make it really nice. So I just thought, fine, you know, we'll move. But that is easier said than done, especially when you have pets. So my close family have and are moving away. So they've moved up north a bit, whereas we live down south. Well, kind of south. We're London anyway, so not south, but you know, not north either. So family have and are moving north a bit, and I just felt like, you know, maybe it's time. You know, obviously the area is cheaper than where we live. Might be able to find a nice property to rent. So I tried and we visited and we did viewings, and they're saying like they're getting between 30 to 50 applications per property, which is crazy. And because we have pets and all these places, the landlords don't want to accept pets. So you just get put to the bottom of the queue. We were never going to find anywhere. And it took me probably 2 or 3 months to realise that this wasn't even feasible. It was never going to work. Unless I had a humongous budget, which I don't. So that kind of then put me back into the depression cycle, because I'm like, great, we're stuck here now. What am I supposed to do? And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sort this house out to make it livable, but I'm going to do it on a budget, so I'm not spending a ton of money on someone else's house. But I had to do something because it was driving me mental, and I just couldn't bear the thought of doing it again. But I also couldn't bear the thought of staying here the way it was. So obviously I know that by decluttering and trying to make the house more minimal would help me. I just knew that by changing things and putting a lick of paint on the walls and stuff like that, it would kind of feel like it was a new house to some extent. It would feel different, it would bring some positivity in, and it would just create a feeling of it being a bit newer and obviously nicer. And that was kind of what I was looking for when I was looking at other properties. Was I was just thinking, well, it's a fresh start, it'll all be nice and clean, because we were looking at sort of like places that have just been renovated, etc. So that was kind of my thinking. So then obviously I started getting a plan, and knowing that we were staying, I had some work done in the garden. So the first project I decided to, or basically I came up with a massive plan full of projects, and I was trying to figure out how to do it. So I figured I would use the budget that I'd saved up to move to rent somewhere, that I had that money that I could do some things in this house, but I still wanted to do it as cheaply as possible. So I'd been having somebody tidying up the garden. I managed to borrow my dad's old gardener, who luckily does not charge me very much money, and he was tidying up the garden for me. And 2 of my children really like to sit outside, but they were having trouble accessing parts of the garden and sitting comfortably because we just didn't really have a lot of furniture. So I decided to have a flat, it's not a deck, but it kind of looks like a deck, if you see what I mean. It's not decking, it's not expensive. The ground was leveled out and we had something put on it to make it flat. So now the approach was flat anyway, and now we've got a flat area where we could put furniture to sit. So the children got themselves a egg chair, like a double egg chair, one of those sort of like swinging ones. It's absolutely wonderful. It's actually really quite calming as well. I absolutely love it, and you can kind of just sink into it. So they treated themselves to this chair for the garden, and that was sort of like their little sitting area, but there's not enough space for all of us. So I decided to get a sitting sofa thing with a little coffee table, so that I can sit on it, I can lay on it if I need to have a rest, and obviously when people come over we can all sit out there. So that was what I was doing, and I think I'm probably gonna insert some pictures of what I've been doing on this little vlog, rather than putting it on my main channel. But I don't know, it's kind of weird because some of it is like personal, what I've been doing. I'm not sure I want to put it on the internet for everyone to see, but at the same point it'd be kind of nice just to show people what I've done. But you know, these aren't those videos where everything looks amazing, you spent thousands of pounds doing a project and you know it's stunning and the quality is amazing, because there was no point doing that in this house. It's not mine. I'm not, well, I don't know how long we'll be here. You know, technically he only has to give us a couple of months notice and we could have to leave. So I wanted to do this as cheap as I possibly could. So please bear that in mind if you're looking at any photos and like where I'm discussing what I've done. So anyway, first project was get the garden nice for the summer. Not that we've had a summer. This is so typical. Like, I make my garden nice and then there's hardly any nice time to sit out there. Although I do have a child who will sit out there mostly in the weathers. Sorry, I'm so tired. I am exhausted. So that project is almost complete. I just had to wait for the gardener to put the front board on this sort of thing that we built before it was finished. But now it has rained nearly every day. I haven't been able to paint the front bit, so all of it's been painted apart from the front, so I haven't even been able to get any finished photos or anything yet, which is a real shame. But hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. So that was project number 1. Then we went straight into project number 2, 3 and 4, which I had to do all at the same time. And this is the worst possible way, I think, to do projects and to redecorate and things like that, honestly. But I'll explain to you why I had to do it. So I had one child who is basically an adult. He's just about to turn 18, so he decided to go and move to his dad's house, so there would then be a spare bedroom. So I decided to rejig the bedroom. So when we moved into this house 11 years ago, I had 2 children who needed to share a room, so I gave them the biggest room. With my children's disabilities, they're not allowed to have bunk beds and stuff like that, so it just wouldn't have created enough space in any of the other rooms to have 2 children sharing. But the other rooms were big enough for me to, you know, have my bed and my furniture in. So I gave them the biggest room, which was fine, and it worked. And it worked for a long time. It was fantastic, and it gave them that little bit of space that they needed. And then obviously things started changing. So a while ago, my eldest, who is now 22, she moved out. So then that allowed the 2 sharing to then have their own bedrooms. And it made sense for the oldest in the shared room to go into the bedroom of my daughter who moved out, because that room was more her style. It had a nice, it's basically a walk-in wardrobe, but it's not, you have to step into it. It's a weird wardrobe, but it had this massive wardrobe in there, and it just gave her a lovely amount of space, and I knew at some point I would reclaim that master bedroom. But it left my youngest in the master bedroom. So we dealt with that for a while, because I needed to just do a lick of paint in the bedroom that had been vacant and number 2 child moved into. So we redecorated that last year. Was it last year? I want to say it was last year. There is a video for that on my other channel somewhere. And that was a budget makeover as well. It was literally just some paint, and we painted some furniture, and we made it just as easy as possible. So that was just a really quick and easy makeover, and I thought, well, if I've done it once, I can do it again. I had a lot of help, by the way, for that. So I decided to do it again. So we had, obviously, when my son moved out in June, I decided to put the youngest in his bedroom. I was going to go into the master bedroom, and then at some point, maybe somebody would use my old bedroom. But there is a problem with the window in that room, and I didn't want anybody in there at the moment. So a very long story, I'm not even going to go into that. So anyway, I had to clear out obviously all my son's stuff. We cleared it all out, we did a deep clean of the bedroom, and then we redecorated it. I'm literally just waiting for somebody to come and put up a curtain pole, some shelves and a TV bracket, and then that room is done. And we got a new bed to go in that room. That child has some disabilities and extra needs and stuff, and needed a different type of bed. So that was really nice. Fresh room, fresh beds. They absolutely love their room, but they would not like it if I posted pictures or did a video on the internet, so I'm not going to. But it looks lovely. I'm going to respect their wishes, obviously. I'm not going to put anything on here. But it looks absolutely lovely. All nice and fresh. Taken most of the stuff from their old room into the new room, but obviously they've gone from a master bedroom to what is technically the box room. It's not tiny, but it is a box room. So yeah, so basically I had to get that done as soon as I possibly could. So I have been on a time limit to get everything finished. And this is one of the reasons why we had to do everything. But until one bedroom was empty, I couldn't move any furniture and I couldn't decorate anything. I ended up having to start decorating that room whilst there was a high sleeper in there as well, because I couldn't take it down by myself. I had to wait for someone to come and do it, but I already had to have most of the decorating finished at that point. So you know, I've been constantly relying on help, so I've been having to wait for that. Obviously, you know, you have to wait till people who are willing to help you and happy to help can, you know, till they're free, obviously. So we got that one done with all of the help, and then we moved on to the front room. So I decided one of the ways to make things feel nicer would be to repaint the front room, but also to get some new furniture. So I needed to get a new sofa, because all of us who have got the physical problems are struggling with this sofa, and it actually causes a lot of pain and we can't really relax properly on it. So we had to order a new sofa, and then I thought, well, I think we're going to get some new furniture as well, just change the look in here, because then it'll just feel like a whole new place really. So I'd ordered the furniture, and there was only one weekend that my help could come and put it up, which meant I had to have the room painted before we put the furniture up, because obviously you do not want to paint a room which is going to be full of stuff, because you can't put this stuff anywhere else, and you don't want to do that with brand new furniture in here. My sofa's actually running late. It should have been here like next week, but it's not going to come till the end of August now. But I've still got other new items of furniture, so we had to then rush from the bedroom straight downstairs and paint this room, which took a lot longer, because I mean, it's not huge, but it's kind of a nice sized room, but everything needed painting and sorting out, and there's things I find really hard, like trying to do skirting boards and things like that. There was we'd had a radiator that had been changed. Well, we'd had 3 radiators downstairs that had been changed, and where they had moved the radiators, and these radiators are smaller, I have massive chunks of like unpainted walls in the 3 rooms that they were in, which is really annoying because they've not all been decorated, because I did the hallway during COVID, and the kitchen must have been just after COVID. So yeah, just patches of wall that are not decorated, and I've got wallpaper from 100 years ago on it. So anyway, there was a lot to do in here. So we finally managed to get the room painted. Oh no, hold on. We went on holiday somewhere in this as well. Trying to think when we did what. I think we must have gone on holiday literally just after I finished the front room, and then yeah, that was it. And then when we got back from holiday, the day after we got back, I had to start doing the front room, because then we were getting the delivery for the furniture, and then the next day my sister was coming to put it all together. So yeah, it was chaos. I couldn't get rid of the furniture, the old furniture, in time. Like, I was trying to sell some stuff, I couldn't get rid of it. We had to literally decorate around all of it. So that was hard work. I don't know how people do it all the time, I really don't. It's a lot easier if you've got like an empty room, obviously. So anyway, we knocked this out, obviously with all the help, in 2 days. Managed to get it decorated, and then spent a day putting all the furniture together. So it's looking lovely, but again, it's not ready to take any pictures of yet, because I still have the old furniture in here as well, so it's really crowded and cramped in here. But when that is done, I will take some pictures. And then as soon as that was done, I had to go and do my bedroom, my new bedroom. Get that painted, because it was very childlike in there. I did contemplate not decorating and just moving the stuff in and be done with it, because I'd had enough. I'd really had enough decorating. But it's like pink and purple, and to be honest, like, that was one of the first rooms that was done when we moved in, and it just looks so grubby, and there was pieces peeling off and all sorts. It needed a bit of tender loving care in there. And I thought, you know what, obviously, like, my bedroom's always been like my little sanctuary. It's obviously like my only actual my space, and I've always felt calm in the bedroom that I was in. It was painted a nice pale grey. It was just calming, and I wanted to go into a new bedroom with another calming feeling, a nice space to have for me. So I chose a different colour this time, because I've done grey in here. I don't know how much you can see, but this is like a grey, so I didn't want to go from a grey bedroom for the last 11 years to another grey bedroom with a grey front room as well. So I've gone for a more neutral colour. It's like a taupey kind of pinky tint to it, but I will get some pictures or a video for you, because I don't mind showing you my bedroom so much, but I had to order a new wardrobe. So I had 2 wardrobes in my room. I had a built-in wardrobe, and then I had to buy another wardrobe, because even though they're built-in wardrobes, they look large, but they don't really hold that much, and I just needed a second one. So I've gone into another room, and even though it's the master, the wardrobe's actually smaller. I just don't understand. It's not as deep as the wardrobe that I had. So I've just ordered another wardrobe. It literally came today, the day that I'm filming this, and I've got hopefully someone coming to put it up in 2 days' time. So when that is up and I can finish moving the rest of my stuff in and tidy it back up again, that would be great. But I've had a lot of help. Shush! So I've had so much help doing these projects. Please don't think I've done this alone. Like, it'd be absolutely impossible. I've had tons and tons of help, and I'm so grateful to all of my family and friends that have helped me do this. Honestly, couldn't have done it without you guys. And it's made me, even though it's not even finished, I'm happier already. I'm feeling more positive. I'm enjoying just seeing something fresh, something new, and the colours that I've chosen are quite calming as well, which obviously I've done on purpose, but I'm really happy that they do have that calming effect. And I think once everything's finished, I'm going to feel good. What I've been doing as well, which is what has been taking up probably more time, was every room I have dealt with, we have decluttered, and I've decluttered as much as possible. Now, I'm not a minimalist. I like things, and my kids like things, and I'm a bit sentimental, and I keep hold of sentimental things. Like, that's never going to change. But I needed to have less stuff. I think there's a lot to be said for, you know, having less stuff in your house. Less cluttered house is a less cluttered mind, and I do believe that, and I'm really starting to feel the difference. Unfortunately, because I'm not finished yet, I'm not feeling the full whack of it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I started another project because I'm nuts, basically. If you haven't noticed, I am just crazy sometimes, and I don't make life easy for myself sometimes. I wouldn't suggest you all do everything at the same time. Try and take one project at a time, but because we were on a time limit, it's I didn't really have a choice. I have to get this bedroom, which is now obviously a spare bedroom right now. I needed to get it emptier and ready to have somebody do something with this window, because my bed was in front of the window because it was the only place it fit with the rest of the furniture. So my bed was up against the window, so nobody could have got to the window to sort of fix anything anyway. So I wanted to get that window fixed. We do have a problem with birds up in the fascia boards and stuff, so obviously that can't be dealt with until the birds have gone, and they are protected. We are not allowed to do anything. So, but I know it's going to take the landlord a while to sort things out, but I didn't know if he was going to send someone over straight away to have a look, or whether he would wait. So I wanted to get that ready. We've had, you know, other changes in the house. Like I said, I've actually had 2 children move out in the last year or 2, which has obviously been a massive change for us and a lot to adjust to. So obviously, you know, our shopping's changed a little bit as well. That's what I do on my other channel, is cooking, meals, shopping, hauls, etc. You know, they still come over, so I'm still buying bits of food that they like, and like snacky things and stuff like that. So that's been a massive change. And that's all new, but we've been so busy trying to change the house and make it nicer and make it a more pleasant place to be. I decided that, I mean, obviously, like I said, my kitchen, it needs well, it needs to be ripped out, and we need new flooring and a new kitchen. All the units, etc., need to be replaced. I'm hopeful that that will happen. The landlord will do it at some point, not too distant future. But really, I wanted the kitchen done first before I decorated the downstairs, because obviously everything's going to have to come out of the kitchen and it's going to end up in my hallway and front room. So I didn't want it to all be freshly, newly decorated and then have a load of stuff be brought in here. But I'm at the point now where I don't really care anymore, and I just want the new kitchen in and to be safer and more usable. But what I did decide to do in there was sort out the desk area and our table area. So what I had found was I had some spare chairs in my kitchen I'd been keeping for like when we have people over and there's just a lot more people than there are chairs. And then that area just got cluttered up and it's looked a mess in my videos like all this time. And then the desk just had loads of stuff put on it, and I couldn't really get to it very easily. So things would just get put there and not dealt with. And my daughter uses a wheelchair and she's at uni, she does it from home. She wants to be able to get there in her chair, sit in her chair and move around, and there just wasn't enough space. So what I've decided to do is to reconfigure that half of the kitchen, move the desk, swap the table. I'm trialing a different table right now, which is a very old table, and it's not aesthetically pleasing, you know, it doesn't go with anything in my kitchen. I have no chairs to match it. It's not as pretty as my other table. My other table's broken and it's relatively new, so I was really quite annoyed actually that it got broken. And we glued it back together basically, and it's kind of kept going all this time, but it's big and I'm not sure it's going to work. And I was actually wondering whether the smaller table, which can be extended for when we've got people over, would actually be a better fit space wise. And I know a lot of people, particularly on YouTube and Instagram, it's all about aesthetics, it's all about having everything perfect, and that is not me. You know, hence my channel name. I am the far from perfect mum. Not everything in my life is perfect, not everything looks perfect, and that's okay. It's okay. You don't need to have everything perfect. If you don't want to be like that, it's fine. I struggle a little bit, I think, OCD wise, looking at the colour of the table, knowing it doesn't fit with anything. But that's more of an OCD thing rather than needing everything to be aesthetically pleasing. But, you know, I will put a mat thing on it, whatever you call them, tablecloth, that's the word. I'll put a tablecloth on it and pretend it's not happening. So, but the reconfiguration of that area has meant that we've got more space to access the desk now, so we can get the wheelchair to it properly at the right angle, and she can sit there more comfortably because she can't sit on the dining room chairs to do it. It's just too painful. She's more comfortable in the chair. So that was really good. And the other really cool thing that happened was I had bought my mum for her 60th birthday a Cricut machine. If you don't know what that is, it's like a cutting machine and you can make crafts and different things with it. Amazon delivered it, even though we were in, didn't knock on the door. They threw it over my 6-foot fence into my garden, literally. And this box had fragile written on it. It says like this way up. And they threw it over my fence. I went absolutely berserk at Amazon, because obviously it's a present as well, but it's also a mechanical piece of equipment with lots of little bits on the inside of it. So you wouldn't be able to tell if it was broken or not particularly. So I was really upset. And as I said, it was a special present from my mum's special birthday. And, you know, I don't usually spend that kind of money on people for their birthdays or Christmases and stuff. It was a special thing, like I said, for a special birthday, because I knew how much she really wanted one. And when I called them, they said they would send out another one. Great, but they said I could keep this one and I could do what I wanted with it. I could keep it, I could sell it, I could donate it. And I thought, actually, do you know what, that'd be quite cool for me to have a play with, see if it works, because I knew how much my daughter would enjoy it as well, given the chance to use one. And actually my youngest also has expressed an interest in being able to use it. So I've got that set up on the desk. I've decluttered the desk. It's looking lovely and it's now functional, and there is still space for my daughter to use her laptop on there as well for her uni work. So I'm really pleased with that. So that was like then an extra project that was being done as well. So yeah, I've been wanting to speak to you guys for ages because I've missed you all and I've missed the chatty videos, but I had nothing to talk about. So I'm not just going to put up content for content's sake. I don't believe in that. So now I feel like I've had some exciting stuff, tiring stuff to talk about. I am exhausted. I am, hence not being able to do my meals of the week videos because I'm not really able to cook properly. I'm not eating properly, and that's not good, but it's what's been necessary to do to enable me to be able to do these projects. And I'm happy that I'm doing them. It feels good. So anyway, I've really enjoyed what I've done. I'm feeling so much better. I'm in a much better headspace and I feel exhausted. But once I have finished and I'm eating better, I will go back to doing my videos properly and getting back to normal on YouTube, because obviously that has been worrying me, and I can't wait to get back to doing that normally. So, you know, like I said, I just wanted to give you an update. I wanted to talk to you guys. So please put some comments down and let's have a chat down below. And I hope it's given you some inspiration if you're feeling a bit down in the dumps or something in your house is bothering you. Maybe just try a project, even a little one, just something. Like I said, I've done this on a budget. I've obviously spent money, but not a lot considering I've redecorated 2 bedrooms and a front room. I've had something in the garden made, I've bought new furniture, and I've rearranged my kitchen. So all in all, I don't think I've actually spent a lot of money for what I've actually done. But the impact it's had on how I feel was worth every penny. So, you know, get yourself a nice little decorative item to go in a room, or, you know, paint something, a nice colour that's going to bring you some joy, or get some new pictures or something. So I've still got plans for this front room. It is not finished. I bought some prints to go on this back wall that will go behind the new sofa, but I don't have frames for those yet. And I had a set of kids' photos from when they were younger, which I loved, in my front room, but I'm gonna have to reframe them. So I'm gonna do like a collage wall of photographs, but I'm not in the state at the moment to be sorting that out and doing that, but they are projects to come. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to just getting back to normal a little bit, but I wanted to give you a little bit of just a heads up of what's been going on, and hopefully give you some motivation as well, just to change something if it's bothering you, just to make you feel a little bit better. Honestly, it works. Anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling on because I've got a terrible habit of just waffling, and it's been lovely chatting to you all again. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know you enjoyed it, and if you're a new person watching, please subscribe as well. Love to have you on this channel. And if you're not on my other channel, then it is just the Far From Perfect Mum, and I do cooking and shopping hauls over there. So thank you for watching. Bye.